Rising star Jasmine Crockett is the MVP of attention-seeking, and she's defending the need for illegal immigrants with this shocking take.
So I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of immigrants.
Right.
The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now. Okay, so I'm lying. Raise your hands. You're not. We done picking cotton. We are. You can't pay us enough to find a plantation.
What do you think of the idea that we need illegals because the blacks aren't picking cotton anymore?
Well, I don't like that idea, Judge, and I think it's pretty racist. But, you know, whether it's guest, right, of course, whether it's a guest worker program, whether it's people that come here seasonally, I guess some jobs in agricultural, you have to have the people south of the border do it. But that's not really the issue. That's not the jobs they're taking. They're taking actually good blue-collar jobs all over the country. Look at the south side of Chicago.
Jasmine Crockett just lives rent-free in the heads of everyone in MAGA world. She is so easily able to get under their skin. And what's the best part about when she does is that it's not just that she humiliates them, but when they try to call her out, it ultimately just backfires, which is exactly what we saw when Jasmine Crockett delivered a brutal on-air takedown of MAGA that left Jesse Waters over at the Fox propaganda outlet just melting down and losing it in a way that just made him look stupid. We're going to get into it all, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way. It really does mean a lot to me. Now, before we get into Jesse's meltdown, of course, we want to hear from Jasmine Crockett calling out MAGA. She did that in an interview on CBS right here.
Majority of Americans, it might be a slim majority, but still a majority of Americans back him up on immigration. Are you getting something wrong in interpreting where the public on that issue actually is?
No, I'm not. One of the things that I hate about polling is that it is a very stagnant data point instead of doing something like having a focus group where you can have an actual conversation. I don't know exactly how these questions are being asked, but one thing that I can tell you is that if you sit down and you say, are you okay with your grocery prices? Are you okay with the fact that housing prices are going up? And you start to connect how important it is for us to have immigrants that are contributing to our country in this way, then people may start to shift. I just had a group in my office not even an hour ago explaining that we need to do more on immigration because they don't have the workers that they need, and they are in the construction realm. So I am telling you that this is a failed thing, but we've got to do better to connect the dots and let people know the reason you can't afford a home is because of these failed immigration policies. The reason you're not going to be able to afford your food is because of these failed immigration policies. And the same can go for the hospitality industries, where we have so many of those in the hospitality industry that are saying they do not have the workers that they need right now.
Congresswoman, as you well know, the Trump administration has ordered throughout the federal government restrictions or a complete banning of anything dealing with diversity, equity, inclusion. It's also using the power of the federal government with major universities and funding on things related to diversity, equity, inclusion. I know you oppose that. Why, and what do you think the dangers therein are?
Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this is a workaround for getting around the Civil Rights Act. They are packaging it up in a very different way. But the goals of diversity, equity, and inclusion have always been to really more so elaborate on the Civil Rights Act. And I think that that is what is so scary for so many Black Americans that look at a colleague that I never got to serve at, but they look at the stories of the John Lewises, and they know the struggles, they know the fights that so many that came before us engaged in, only to have people trample upon that progress and say, you know what, you are not enough. And just to prove it, we are going to defund you. That doesn't make sense. And honestly, It is not what's best for America. What I always tell people is that as someone who had a business major with an emphasis in finance, you always wanted a diverse portfolio. You always want diversity when it comes to our energy, as someone who had to deal with the winter storm in Texas. So why is it that diversity somehow is now the boogeyman and is bad when it comes to our workforce? When you are trying to market and make sure that you can make money from all Americans, you may want to engage in the perspective of all Americans to make sure that your product can get there. And I'll give you this final example. We saw that Target decided that they were going to get rid of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So guess what? We took our diverse dollars elsewhere. In fact, it was Costco that said that they were going to embrace diversity, equity, and inclusion. And what have you seen? You have seen record growth from Costco at a time in which Donald Trump is killing our economy. So if you want to survive, if you actually want to do better and thrive, then my guess is that you should embrace diversity, equity, and inclusion, because that's who we are in this country. It is the American thing.
Texas Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, thank you. I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Such an incredible and, of course, unapologetic messenger in our party. We say this every time, but clearly it's gotten under MAGA's skin. And what's so funny about this, and what is going to happen on Fox that we're going to check out in just a second, is they love to do this thing where they take what they think is a really bad clip of Jasmine Crockett, or AOC, or any other Democrat. But when they play it, it actually just kind of sounds entirely reasonable, and someone that you would want in government. And that's what we saw right here.
Rising star Jasmine Crockett is the MVP of attention seeking, and she's defending the need for illegal immigrants with this shocking take.
So I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of immigrants.
Right.
The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now. Okay, so I'm lying. Raise your hands. You're not. We done picking cotton. We are. You can't pay us enough to find a plantation.
What do you think of the idea that we need illegals because the blacks aren't picking cotton anymore?
Well, I don't like that idea, Judge, and I think it's pretty racist. But you know, whether it's guest right, of course, whether it's a guest worker program, whether it's people that come here seasonally, I guess some jobs in agricultural, you have to have the people south of the border do it. But that's not really the issue. That's not the jobs they're taking. They're taking actually good blue collar jobs all over the country. Look at the south side of Chicago.
Okay, I gotta hit the first two ridiculous things here. Did Jesse Waters, who works at Fox, just say Jasmine Crockett is racist? Jesse Waters. Okay, it's like, I don't even know how to respond to that besides just laughing. So smug, so ridiculous. But then also he says that she's not authentic, which I think might be a fair critique of some Democrats. A lot of Republicans, by the way, who are not honest or truthful in anything that they do. So that critique can just be made of politicians. But Jasmine Crockett, really? Someone who is so honestly herself, fiery in her authenticity, so much that it upsets you. And I thought it was funny, the clip that they played of Jasmine Crockett just being like, yeah, immigration to America is good. We are a country of immigrants. It is deflationary. It is the backbone of our economy. You guys have been talking about farmers. Like, what a completely reasonable clip of Jasmine Crockett. Whoa. I just always think it's funny when they kind of do the self-own there. Jesse Waters trying to pretend that he's so manly. What? Like, 'cause you're on Fox? This is the thing. These guys have been saying a lot. I'm okay with the argument that, sure, we want people who are able to speak for an extended period of time that aren't just leaning on the talking points. But to present that as like some manly exercise, being able to go on a podcast, they're just out of touch. That is just what we see. It's all across the MAGA media. And when members of Donald Trump's administration go to the mainstream media and try to defend him, which is what we saw Peter Navarro try and fail to do, Donald Trump's trade advisor, who Elon Musk even admits is who has no idea what he's talking about. He tried to defend this crash in the market. Take a look right here.
Has what's unfolded here fundamentally altered for the worse the foundation of our global financial system?
Look, just in a joking matter, I think CNBC is going to sue CNN for intruding on their financial analysis and all of that. And what I just heard in terms of the market analysis, I mean, like, that's to me is pure spin. You had the highest rise in stock market history yesterday. Of course, there's going to be a little pullback. The question is, what spin are you going to put on it back? It's just a normal retracement after a big day. It's no big deal. Let's look at where we are, and this is what's the good news for the American people. If you simply look where we are now, we've got a 10% global tariff in place, and we're taking in about probably $4 billion a day. Well, we were losing $4 billion. We're taking in about $2 or $3 billion now. So that's all to the good. We're clawing back some of that dangerous trade deficit, and we've set a 90-day negotiation in motion where at least 90 countries now want to come in and see us. And what they're going to do is literally offer us collectively hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars of opportunity to bring manufacturing here, to sell energy there, and do all sorts of things to balance our trade. We are in a beautiful place. And look, folks in the media keep trying to stir people up, panic people, when yesterday we had the perfect result from the kind of negotiation Donald Trump does. Now, the bond market, I don't know what you're upset about the bond market. We have yields coming down, which is great news for people who want to get a mortgage and home builders and all of that market. And for people who have consumer credit debt, that's good news. For people who want to go out and buy a car.
We've seen more selling of U.S. Treasuries, which again is the foundation of the whole thing.
The auction went fine yesterday, to be clear. The auction went fine. And for your viewers, what they had, the Treasury opens up a window for, I think, something like 15 or 30 minutes, and there's a bid, and we had a lot of participation in it. It went fine, and because the rest of the world thinks this is the best place to be. So I'm trying to figure out what's the problem. We've set in motion this beautiful negotiation schedule. We're going to have India, Australia, Great Britain, the EU, Japan, South Korea. They're all coming in. They've all been cheating us, and we're all going to get good deals from them to help the American people. We should be cheering.
I want to get to the timing on that in just a moment. But you said that what happened yesterday was beautiful with the stock market going up. It was clearly a reaction to what President Trump decided to do. Were you in the room? Were you a voice advocating for this pause? And just in a straightforward way, were you in the room with the president when he made this decision?
So that's the wrong question to ask. Was I part of the process?
Were you in the room?
Hang on.
Were you in the room?
You don't understand how this works. You don't have to be in the room to.
Well, with President Trump, actually, you often do.
Hang on. I never talk about. And I went to prison for this. I never talk about what happens in there. What happens in the Oval.
I'm not asking what was said, sir. I'm asking, were you there or were you not?
Let me tell you about the process, okay? The process is we've got Scott Besson, Howard Lutnick, Jameson Greer, Kevin Hassett, J.D. Vance, myself, Steve Marin at the CEA. We all discuss all these things.
What has been so interesting, if I can put it that way, about the response to Donald Trump's tariffs from MAGA is that this is like the first time ever that they're not on the same page. You know, MAGA usually falls in line and regurgitates whatever talking point that they want out there. But on this, we don't actually know what it is. That's how dumb the tariff policy is. It's usually some very easy, digestible point that they're trying to get out there. But we're both hearing that the market going up is because of Donald Trump. It's tanking because of Joe Biden, or vice versa. But also at the same time, the stock market doesn't matter. But also the biggest day in history, which it wasn't. But also we want manufacturing. But not that manufacturing, but we're getting rid of the manufacturing. Appropriations from Joe Biden's agenda. None of it makes sense, because it doesn't make sense. Because these people don't know what they're doing. And let's just say that they're stupid. We're going to be saying that truth on this show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you